Super excited.
All right, here we go. We have, to answer some of these more technical questions, we have Dan, a.k.a. Jarvis, from Unlocking the Magic Travel, joining us on the podcast. Welcome, Dan.
It's great to be here. It's awesome.
Formerly known as the guy in the chair, but you've been bumped up. You are now officially known as our very own Jarvis. So for those folks listening, you can have your own personal Jarvis helping you with your next Disney vacation. Or
That's right. Dan
Universal.
he got a raise. Well, I didn't really get a raise.
It's my second promotion, right?
But he got a promotion.
I was the man behind the curtain first. And
That's
then
true.
the guy in the chair, and now Jarvis. So second promotion, I think.
Keep it up. Keep up the good work, Dan.
Bumped up.
Yep.
I don't know what the next thing is, but maybe we'll find another title for you. All right, so we have some questions here from listeners and from Club UTM members, and we couldn't answer all of these. So we figured, you know what? We'll have Dan come in because he's more of the, like Jarvis, right?
He's
so the
the
questions
expert.
that we can't answer, we ask him, and he helps us with. So, Dan, you ready to go?
Sure am.
Okay. All right. First question is about Adventures by Disney. And a lot of people don't realize that there's so many opportunities with Adventures by Disney. You can travel around the world, but this question's more for the continental U.S. So the question is, what Adventures by Disney options are there in the continental U.S.?
So there's quite a few options in, the continental U.S. if you're looking to do an Adventures by Disney. You could do Alaska, you can do Yellowstone, you could do the Southern California. They're usually all pretty close to, some kind of national park or, big place that people want to go sightsee. Like that, there's an Arizona, Utah tour that you see some of the national parks that are in those states. So, I think there's a little bit of something, in different climates that everybody wants to go to. I was actually surprised when I looked at the list. There's actually a New England tour. So
Yeah, don't do
I'm
that
sure that's
one.
the first one you guys want to go on, right?
Oh, for
It's the
sure.
New England tour.
What is the New England tour? I'm actually going to Google that while you're talking.
Yeah, it looks like it goes from like New Hampshire to Maine. So you kind of go through Vermont and New Hampshire and end up in Maine.
Which we don't disregard it. That is actually a really beautiful state to visit. Both of those states we are kind of spoiled. I know it's because we don't love the cold, but they are really exceptional places to visit.
It is a really nice place to visit when you, especially, fall or springtime, or actually any season, depending on where you live. If you live in a hot climate like you do, Dan, down in Orlando, coming up here for the wintertime and be able to go skiing or see some of the stuff in the winter here is pretty cool. I would never do it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's definitely what appeals to us. One of the first tours that we want to do with Adventures by Disney is one of the Yellowstone ones where you can go and, see that national park. There's even a winter Wyoming tour where it's more, snow, dog sled focused and things that you do in the snow and those activities.
As soon as you said snow, you lost me.
This is what we need to do, Bruce. We need to go where Dan is. We need to live down there.
I know. That's what I mean.
And that way we vacation to the snow, not...
So I'm on the Adventures by Disney site now, and the Arizona, Utah one looks pretty cool, too.
Yeah, you do a little bit of Bryce Canyon and some of those
sites. Like whitewater rafting, or maybe
Yeah.
not so much whitewater, but rafting. I mean, that looks really cool. What's the benefit of doing Adventures by Disney versus just doing one of these tours yourself?
So it's not cheap, right? Anything Disney is, you like multiply the price, but the value of Adventures by Disney and what they do that's kind of exceptional is they pair you up with local guides. It's not just a cast member, right? It's someone who has deep knowledge of these areas. So when you're on these tours, you're getting like, the local scoop and the insider secrets and, what people don't know unless they visit those places often or live there, right? So you're kind of getting that, along with the exclusivity of it where it's a small group. Again, you're doing things that are proven to be entertaining, right? They've done a lot of research on what to include in these tours. So you're that's what you're paying for, is that Disney service, right? And that exceptional knowledge of these locations.
The one tour that I really want to do, and Connie and I have talked about it, I think we've all talked about it, is the Disneyland Southern California one.
Yeah, I'm craving nature. Like I love the Yellowstone, I love the Arizona one, but this one gives you a little bit more of a rare opportunity to visit some places that you don't get to do just by going to California.
I wonder if you can pull the, hey, what's that over there, while you're on the tour of the studio and kind of just take off and do your own thing for a little bit before they catch you.
I'm sure you can, right? I'm sure there's even some things that even mid-tour, right? They might have some blocks of time that are set aside for you to go do your own thing, right? Like this meal isn't covered by the tour. Go explore, and we'll meet
Yeah.
back up here, right? So it's not solid. One of the things, I don't know if you guys knew this, that the Southern California tour, there's actually two different tours. There's one that's longer. There's one that's 6 days, and there's one that's called the Disneyland Escape. It's like 4 days.
Huh.
So you don't do as much, right? Like you
Yeah.
don't do like the Hollywood Walk of Fame. You don't do the Jim Henson Museum. A couple of those highlights. You still do all the Disneyland and California Adventure stuff. But it's a little bit shorter, so it makes it a little bit more cost effective.
I like that one because
Yeah.
the Hollywood Walk of Fame is a scam. Don't go there. It's not nice.
We'll do the shorter version.
That part of town, as a native Californian, that part of town definitely has changed over the many years that I've been going there. It's definitely changed a lot.
There's a couple things I watched when I was at the Hollywood Walk of Fame. My children and my wallet.
Yeah.
Very true.
It's not a nice area, so it's like you think it's going to be cool, and it's really is cool in theory.
But the 4 days that you get to experience, so what is that?
So you still get to go do like the tour of the studio and the archives, and then there's 2 days at Disney. You do 1 day in Disneyland, 1 day in California Adventure.
That's pretty cool.
I know. You had me at the
you
archives.
kind of cut out some of the other Hollywood stuff.
Yeah.
With the longer tour.
Sure. Which must be fun. I love all things Hollywood, all things California. So I could do everything, but I know with Bruce, I think you would be more interested seeing the archives.
Definitely. And I think if when you go to California too, you should definitely go see some. I know this isn't included in Adventures by Disney, but maybe you could do like the 4-day Adventures by Disney tour and then go see a couple studios, like a studio tours. Those are really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, next question.
Well, I mean, there's a ton to do in Southern California, right?
Oh, yeah.
Not even to mention like the beaches and Universal and San Diego Zoo. There's tons of stuff you can do there. You can't do it all in one trip.
Right.
So it's just kind of what fits in your plan, right? With your family and your situation with Adventures by Disney. It definitely being shorter makes it a little bit more feasible to go
Right.
than the 6-day tour.
All right, next question. This one comes up quite a bit, so I'm going to answer it, and you're going to answer it. I'm going to ask it because you're the expert, but it does come up quite a bit. So here's the question. It's a two-parter. What is the best way to book split stays as a package with tickets, or is that even possible?
So I think I'm going to go with it's not possible, and then I'll kind of expand on it. So
Sure.
you can book a package with tickets, and when you do a split stay, it's basically what Disney looks at it as two different reservations. So it's hard for them to merge the two trips into one trip. That's the way they see it. It's two different trips. They're just back to back. So in my opinion, in my experience, what you should do if you're looking to do a split stay with tickets is just to book the resort onlys and then to purchase the tickets separately. So say you wanted to do 4 days at one resort and 4 days at another resort and you wanted 6-day tickets, I would book the two resorts individually and then get a 6-day ticket. And that way that 6-day ticket will bridge the whole time of your trip that you're planning to go. I have had clients that have successfully gone to guest services at the parks and explained the situation, and they kind of pushed back how long they can use their tickets, but it's definitely not something that you want to rely on because it just depends on who you're talking to that day, right? So I think the best way to do it would be to book the two resorts individually and then purchase the tickets separately.
What do people book a split stay for? They just want to stay at two different resorts and test them out?
Yeah, we do it all the time. As locals, we go and we'll do little staycations. We'll do 2 nights here and 2 nights there. I definitely think that our last big family trip that we did before we moved to Florida, we did a split stay. We did 4 days at Wilderness Lodge and 4 days at Animal Kingdom Lodge, Kidani Village. So, it is a way to see different locations, especially if you're doing a longer trip, to kind of break it up and see 2 different resorts. It's appealing to a lot of people. A lot of people do it all the time. It's very popular.
We don't usually do it with packages, but we do often. if we go for a week or 10 days, we very rarely stay at the same resort the whole time.
It's fun to kind of bounce around and see what else is available. You kind of fall in love with the resort that maybe you weren't considering before. I think that's what I like about it. But then I think there's pros and then there's some cons. Like sometimes I like to go and just be kind of making it my home base.
Yeah, the other con sometimes is you really like your first resort.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I don't want to leave. This resort's amazing. I just want to stay here the whole time. And you don't know if that next one's when you're going to like as much. There's always that risk.
Right.
Yeah, and there's some people that like, so I want to do a monorail resort for my Magic Kingdom and Epcot days because I can do the monorail to those two resorts, and then I want to go stay at a resort closer to Animal Kingdom, or Hollywood Studios for those 2 park days. Some people try to do it that way. Some people do it as they want to experience a deluxe, but they can't afford to do the deluxe for the whole duration of their stay. Definitely my opinion on that is if you're going to split between like a value and a deluxe, do the deluxe second.
Yes. We did that mistake before.
We have a whole shirt on that.
Oh, yeah. Before we met you, Dan, we did that by accident one time. We did a deluxe stay at the beginning. Yeah. And then it was a value, and it was fun. Like, we had a good time, don't get me wrong. But going from the deluxe level category resort to, there being like big fluffy towels by the pool to
less people even like around. And you go to like Pop Century and there's a bazillion people and the pool's so loud. What did I do myself?
Yeah.
But
it's difficult with the tickets thing when you're in the, it's easier for people that have annual passes, right? That's easier for them to do. But if you're purchasing a ticket, Disney just looks at that ticket. Those days have to be used within the block of time that your package is booked. So you can't extend it easily. So that's what my recommendation would be.
All right, next question. Then this is more of a do you think kind of question. Do you think they'll extend the Skyliner to Animal Kingdom? Plenty of space over there out the front of the park. Has that ever been a question, or do you think they'll ever do that?
I've heard that a ton, and so I think we're journeying into the realm of speculation and rumor on this question. Right?
We love that on this show.
So I'll give my opinion, and you can maybe judge whether you agree or not. But I think that definitely there's plenty of space at the theme park, Animal Kingdom Park, to put in Skyliner. There's so much room in front of that park. The problem I see is it would have to hook up to the line right now, right? And I've gone and done the Skyliner quite a bit, just kind of leisurely at different times of the day. And it's fine, when you get on the line at Pop or Art of Animation, but all those lines kind of feed into that one hub that's right by like Caribbean Beach and Riviera. So it really kind of bottlenecks right there. So where you're split off to go to Hollywood Studios or Epcot. So if you can imagine them trying to fit in another space right there to accommodate another park, or the other scenario would be is if maybe they extended the line that's by Hollywood Studios and have that keep going towards Animal Kingdom. Again, you're creating, now you have people that are going to 2 parks on that one line. So it kind of really creates a bottleneck. So I think that's the part that they would have to wrap their head around.
How would they do that?
How to fix the crowds in that one hub.
There's been rumors though, like a lot of rumors about it happening, or
yeah, definitely. I've heard people say they want to, they would wish that they would extend the Skyliner to Animal Kingdom. I've also heard them say they wish they would extend it to Disney Springs.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
So
I wish they would extend it to my backyard. It's so far though.
Come pick me up in New England, please. Bring me down. Yeah, I mean.
So I just think with that one station where you kind of got to transfer, it gets pretty crazy. Park open and close time right there.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And it's the furthest away, so it's the resort that it seems like it's the beautiful resort, but it takes a little bit of time to get to and from.
That'd be an awesome ride, though.
It would.
All the way out there to Animal Kingdom. The
really would.
Skyliner, I think the aesthetics of it, it's a really fun time. Like I said, we go just do that as locals. We go do that as a leisure activity, right? It's fun to just go ride it and see Disney World from above type of thing.
I'm laughing because my recent memory of the Skyliner was when we stopped at the boardwalk to go get some ice cream, and we were hanging out. I was waiting, I think, for you to Bruce to come out of the car, and all of a sudden I look up and the Skyliner was going above me, and I could hear everybody in the Skyliner and each individual gondola, and it was just so funny to
You can hear it from the ground. You can hear people's conversations from the ground. Be careful what you say on those Skyliners.
Yeah.
It was so comical. I could have hung out there all day and grabbed myself a chair, and just people. Technically, I'm not people watching because I couldn't see them, but I could hear them.
I like the Skyliners too. I didn't think I would like them when they first announced it, but I've been on them several times, and I do enjoy them.
I'm partial.
Yeah, I got a little concerned when it first opened and they had some of those hiccups where people had to be evacuated, but you don't hear that.
No.
That's very common, right?
Yeah.
You know, the other concern of it is, you know, the night that we did the meetup over at the boardwalk, I was watching because they were still running the Skyliner, and it was pretty windy out there. So
I didn't know that.
Blown around a little bit when you're up in the Skyliner.
Oh, that's interesting. I don't know if I could handle that.
Yeah, that'd be a tricky situation there.
Would remind me of the Mickey Ferris wheel in California Adventure. I don't know if I could handle that. Okay.
Next one.
I'm visiting for Universal for my birthday next month, and I'm wondering if you guys had any tips for Christmas things to see or do within Universal Orlando. I'm familiar with Disney holidays, celebrations, and decorations, but not Universal other than the Grinch. Would love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, so there's things to do that are really cool. We did Universal Christmas last year, and they have a parade that's really cool. It kind of feels like it's sponsored by Macy's, so it kind of feels like the Macy's parade. The some of the floats look like balloons.
Yeah,
so
I saw that.
It was fun. It was a fun time. So I definitely think that's a highlight. They mentioned the Grinch. The Grinch, they do have a couple things that are kind of
the Grinch is my favorite.
Revolve around the Grinch, right? They call it the Grinch Miss, where you interact with him. There's also a Grinch breakfast that you can do. I know they have another Hollywood tour. They do, decorations throughout the park, just like Disney does, that are fun. And you can, even in the Wizarding World, they do like a light show on the projection onto the Hogwarts castle with some fireworks. I know they do that regularly too, but it's more Christmas themed. So I think that they do some things that make it totally feel like you're, in the holiday spirit, and cool decorations. So I would check some of those things out.
You know what I love about Universal? I love their like little marketing and how they kind of have fun with everything. And their website, it says, ready, you guys? It says anyone can ho 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 and fa la la for the holidays, but if you want to scream, laugh, and shout your jingle bells off, you've got to awesome up to your holiday at Universal Orlando, where we do holidays big time. It's the biggest, loudest, awesomest holiday celebration of the season.
Yeah, they are a little bit more non-conservative, I'll say, with their social media and marketing.
This is my favorite. I just can't help but laugh when I read anything they write. They really just like laugh at themselves, and it's lighthearted. And I'm sticking with how Universal Orlando is just a lot of fun. Disney is magical, or Universal super fun, but also I love when we see the live performances in Universal, which I don't necessarily realize sometimes that they're even a thing in Universal, because I sometimes correlate that with more of a Disney experience, but they do the Chip Davis.
Yeah,
It's super fun.
They have like a stage show. Don't sleep on the Universal resorts either. The Universal resorts are pretty nice. I mean, and you see, like, everybody's like, oh, the Universal's right on the highway. And we thought that too. But when you're in there, when you're in like Volcano Bay, or you're in one of the resorts, you don't necessarily realize where it's located. They do a pretty good job of like immersing you into the either the resort or the theme park without you knowing how close it is to everything else.
Yeah, I definitely think one of the things people love so much about visiting the parks and the holidays is just how it brings that Christmas spirit. And I definitely think visiting Universal during those times did that for us.
Yeah.
We went and enjoyed the decorations and the lights and the Christmas music. And like Connie said, there's other characters that are interacting with people throughout the parks. And
they have that cool holiday tribute store too. I just saw pictures of it recently. We didn't get to go in there.
Well,
it's a tribute department store that they have, and it's really cool items that you can see. We can share it on social sometime.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's really fun. Like, I just love it. So much fun. I love Christmas in Florida.
Yeah.
You got to go try the cookie shake over at
Oh yeah,
the Chocolate Emporium, Twosome Chocolate Emporium
looks-
for the holidays. It was quite good. I
All right,
recommend.
here we go. Next question. Have you ever done the candlelight processional? If so, is it worth the effort it's taking to get the dining package?
So I kind of wish that we did this question in a week, because I haven't ever done it, but I have a candlelight dining package reserved for Josh Gad on the 10th.
so
a week from
exciting. You got Josh Gad.
so Saturday. Yeah,
That's
Saturday.
funny.
So what is it? What is it? Explain it to me.
So it's just that celebrity narrator that kind of goes
They don't
through
sing,
the
do
story
they?
of. There's a choir that sings the songs of Christmas. Yeah, it
Okay.
goes through the story of Christmas, and they definitely sing songs. The cool thing about the choir is it's made up of cast members.
Oh,
I have cast members that work in my department that they transfer to that for the season. So they work the candlelight processional just for the season, and then they come back to their regular position
That is
afterwards.
the coolest thing ever. I don't think anyone has ever told us this before. Like I had no idea. And
so when you say dining package, what does that mean?
So just like booking a dining reservation, they have special packages where at the 60-day mark, you could try to get one of those reservations, and it gives you a ticket that's a guaranteed seat in the America Pavilion for the show.
Okay.
If you don't get that, then you have to wait. And so some of the celebrity narrators, I mean, you have to line up hours before to get a seat. You know, sometimes there's opportunities for you to do standing room only, right? But your can be far away if you do it that way. One of the things that's new this year with the dining packages, and you kind of have to do it first thing when you get there, is you can shoot over to the Regal Eagle Smokehouse, and that's a quick service. And if you get there early enough in the day, you can get you're going to pay a little bit more for it, but you're going to get the meal, but you're also going to get one of the tickets for the guaranteed seating.
Oh, that's cool.
So
hold on. What are you telling everybody for?
Sorry.
All our secrets.
Definitely, if you're going to do it, though, you have to do it first thing, because they'll go fast. So
Gotcha.
you could shoot over there and grab one of those tickets.
So the
But
dining
I've
package,
seen-
you get a guaranteed seat, and then what do you get? Dinner somewhere?
Yeah, you get the meal. So yeah, dinner at the different locations. There's Coral Reef, Le Cellier, Garden Grill.
Oh, that's cool. So you eat dinner first, then you go over to the thing and watch the show.
So, but it's not necessarily dinner. Your reservation that you get could be, earlier in the day, more like around lunchtime.
Oh.
But they just give you that ticket to get you the guaranteed seating.
Oh, gotcha.
Our reservation's actually at Beer Garden.
Oh,
So
fun.
we have a reservation for Beer Garden around 1:30, and then we'll go over to Josh Gad that evening. So I'll return and report on that.
All right. I don't know, Dan, but we saw Boys to Men.
Beat
Hey,
that.
I'm gonna have Olaf
I know you win, I guess.
being the narrator for the candlelight processional.
That's
so I
true.
don't know. You have to judge which one's better, Boys to Men or Olaf doing the candlelight processional.
That is also true.
It's not like a walking thing, though, right? They're already set up there. I don't know. When I hear processional, I feel like it's like a parade.
No, it's a show. It's
right.
in the same theater where you guys saw Boys to Men.
Okay.
So they're just.
Oh, I
narrating
didn't see it.
the
I was
story.
forced to see Boys to Men, Dan. No assumptions
He
there.
loved
Hey,
it.
I was there. I saw when you said, "Hey, Connie, we got to go do this and go see Boys."
He loved it. He loved it. Brought back his 90s vibe for sure. It was fun.
So you are going next week. We'll have to report back on the show, and
Yeah,
we'll see how it
we have
goes.
reservations on the 10th, so I'll have to return and report on that.
So much fun. I love it. That's great memories that you're building with your family. I love it. All right, next question is, what's the best way to, this is also very common, what's the best way to get around while resort hopping if you don't have a car? We're planning on hitting all the gingerbread houses, but what's the best way to get between them when Disney transportation, I almost called it Dansportation. Do you offer
Hey,
that?
I'll do Dansportation. I'll pick you up and drive you around to the different resorts. that
Duber?
have,
It's Duber.
It's Duber.
When Disney transportation doesn't go directly from one resort to the next. I know that's a very common thing.
So somebody in our Club UTM Facebook group answered this, and I went cross-eyed.
What happened?
They said, "Oh, we take the train to this resort, and then we take the monorail to this resort, and then we take the boat over here, and then we hop on." I was like, "What? That seems like a lot of work."
Yeah, so my answer is going to be similar to that.
Yeah.
So,
Get ready. Bruce, just follow us.
There's a few displays, right? So if your goal is to see all of them, yes, it's going to be like that, where you're going to be kind of doing a whole lot of transferring. But you can knock out the two main ones, the Grand Floridian, the big gingerbread house there, display there. And in my opinion, the best gingerbread house display over at the Contemporary, so you can knock those out on the monorail loop. So if you're not staying at one of the monorail loop resorts, you could catch a bus over to Magic Kingdom, and then I would just walk from the bus stop at Magic Kingdom just straight over to the Contemporary.
Yes.
And start there, and then see that display, and then jump on the monorail and go see the display at the Grand Floridian. That's what I would do. And
so
then
much
if
fun.
you wanted to go see the other one, you could take the monorail back to Magic Kingdom and then take a bus from Magic Kingdom over to Beach Club to see the carousel display there.
And then you could essentially go around the boardwalk and hang out, make it make a day out of it, and make an experience of it, because you know how much I love going around to the resort. So I think that's fun.
So if you're staying on property, you can take a bus to the Magic Kingdom, and that can kind of be your hub. If you're not staying on property, you should probably go to Disney Springs and let that be your hub, kind of.
Yeah, you could pick any of the parks really to be the hub. The only reason why I was saying take a bus to Magic Kingdom is because puts you pretty close to two of the main displays. Right. So pretty close to the Contemporary, and definitely don't. You're the closest way to the Contemporary from Magic Kingdom is walking. That's definitely the way I would do it. I wouldn't worry about taking the bus to Magic Kingdom and then trying to get on the monorail.
Just seeing those is, I think, a full day. I mean, it's exhausting. Just kind of, you want to absorb it all and make it an experience. You don't want to just rush around. So I would make that would be part of my day if that's all I saw. Anyway.
Yeah. Plus, if you rent a car, like we often rent a car when you're down there, can't you? What do they call it? Valet your car, right? And then that valet is good no matter where you go in Disney property, right?
Yeah.
So you valet your car at one resort, you just go see what you got to see. You take that valet, you just go to the next one. You have to pay, other than tipping the guy or gal.
Yeah, if you're renting a car, it makes it a little bit easier if you're driving, right, to go from place to place. The only thing you have to keep in mind if you're driving is some resorts are very still strict on whether they let you park there without a dining reservation. Especially the Grand Floridian and the Contemporary being so close to the Magic Kingdom, right? They're really hard sometimes to park at those resorts.
Yeah, the Contemporary was really hard. We had to do a background check. We had reservations for Steakhouse 71.
Yeah. I actually got turned down. We tried to park at the Grand Floridian, and it was on I think it was on a Saturday, and they're like, we've got like 5 weddings here today. We're not letting anyone park unless you have a hotel reservation.
Oh wow. Yeah, I can imagine. That's a very popular place for sure. Okay, this is another rumor, Dan, but
definitely before we move on that one, definitely spend most time at the Contemporary, because that's definitely the best display.
That's the best display. Okay,
easiest pool to get into too if you don't have reservations, by the way.
Easiest what?
Pool.
We're not doing that. All right, how do you feel about the rumored overhaul on the reservation system? Do we think that's going anywhere? Do you think that's another rumor that's been circling? I know.
Here's my thoughts. I think, if anything, they'll take away the reservation system and keep Genie Plus, because it doesn't cost them any money.
Well, yeah, but they're talking about just the reservation system.
I think that, isn't there a rumor? So this is the rumor. The rumor is that they're going to get rid of the reservation system for day guests, but keep it for annual pass holders. Right, Dan?
So I haven't heard that. I agree with you, Bruce, that I think the easiest thing for them to do to help people have a better feeling about what the changes have been at Disney is to bring back that there's no reservations. I think they like it. I think they like knowing about how many people are going to be in the park every day. I think that gives them a lot of data for staffing and food ordering and all those types of different things. But so many people don't like it. Their competitor across the way doesn't do it, right? There's a lot of different reasons why they don't need to have it anymore. So I think that it would be very easy for them to get rid of it. Again, that's a rumor. I don't have any inside information on that, but I think it'd be very easy for them to not have that. I think if they do get rid of the reservation system, I would say that's the reservation system is probably the main reason why they're not selling annual passes anymore. because it's hard. The first reservations to go after cast members is the annual pass. So they
Yeah.
got to keep the largest block for people that have, purchased tickets or are staying on
Right.
property. So, it's hard to get, last minute reservations for Hollywood Studios and Animal Kingdom as a local annual pass holder. But if they're not doing the reservation system anymore, I don't see why they would have that restriction of not selling annual passes. I think that's the main reason why they froze them, is they don't want to, have a bunch of people that can't get park reservations and have them be upset because they can't get park reservations and they purchased an annual pass.
Did they freeze annual passes and then start the reservation system, or was it at the same time?
No, the reservation system came back after the reopening of the pandemic.
Okay.
It came back with that. So
and then they stopped selling annual passes during the time that they were closed, right? So no one could buy them.
Yeah, they stopped selling. You could only renew after it reopened. You could only renew, and then it opened back up. It had to be like July. They opened it up, but it was for a short period of time. I think it was just for a couple months that they were on sale. And then right now, the only pass that's on sale is for Florida residents can get the lowest tier annual pass right now.
All right, so I think that I actually do think they'll get rid of the reservation system, because it's the only thing that they can do that's going to give some goodwill to fans that doesn't cost revenue.
And if Universal's already
the parks are already full anyway. It's not
Right.
like it's not like there's you go to the park and the reservations are full and it's like, wow, this is great. There's nobody here. They're packed regardless.
Yeah,
of
they're not using it to restrict attendance.
Yeah, they're only.
Maybe they were at the beginning.
Yeah,
Sure.
but
for
they're
sure.
not doing that now.
I think they're only doing it now, like for like what you said. It's way easier running a restaurant or being a part of a business. Dan, like it's way easier to run the business when you know how many guests you're gonna have.
Sure.
But if the guests revolt and don't go,
that's a problem too.
you got no business.
All right. Does UTM travel, this is a question we've also getting quite a bit, deal with renting DVC points?
Only our own.
Only.
You can call us and rent any DVC points we got.
That's true.
Half off, double price.
There we go.
So I think the best answer for that is not at this time. I definitely think it's something that could be something that we do down the road, but at this time, it's not something that we do, is rent DVC points.
Next one.
But that doesn't mean that that Unlocking the Magic Travel can't help people that are staying DVC. That's not what that means. We definitely can still help you if you're staying, if you're renting DVC points, or if you're a DVC owner. We can help you get your tickets. We can still help book your trip so that you get the same services like dining reservations and advice, and a travel advocate in your corner to help you with your planning process.
Yeah, I mean, we can stay in the room the night before, and you can give us some points and make sure the room's good, so when you get there, it's all set.
No, he can get, like, that person had to ask that, is it worth the effort to take that to get the dining package for the Candlelight Processional when you have somebody on your side helping you? It's a lot easier. So, all right. Well, that leads me to this question that Bruce and I have gotten a lot, but you've actually done it. This is, would you ever move to Florida to be closer to Disney?
So I wouldn't say we moved to Florida to be closer to Disney. We moved to Florida for other reasons.
His wife is in the room.
Universal?
Worked a career in my previous job, and California is a very expensive place to live. We vacationed here a bunch, throughout our married life, and I actually lived in Central Florida for a couple of years before I was married. So it's always been a place that we've enjoyed coming to. So I think that was the main reason. I think that where we chose to live is directly related to Disney. It was funny when we were looking for homes, I was talking about areas to my wife, and she always kept going back to the question, well, how far is that away from Disney? So I definitely think that dictated where we live, which the fastest time I've timed is I was from my driveway to standing in front of the Chinese theater. So that's with parking and walking in 21 minutes.
Wow.
Show's over.
We're going.
You're blocked.
So
We're out of here. That's incredible. And that's one of the things that we love, is that you're so close to the parks. We have that advantage of you really knowing what's happening in real time. And I think that's what sets us apart as well. And having you as our personal Jarvis, a Jarvis to everyone I think is super important and special, and I love that. And
I think what she's trying to say, Dan, is can we move in with you?
basically,
Yeah,
if there's
we've got
room.
plenty of space. You
All
guys
right,
know
excellent.
that there's a open door anytime you want to come.
Appreciate
You
it.
know, another question I get asked a lot by people is, does it kind of ruin the Disney magic? Being so
Yeah.
close or going so often. I get asked that, and I would say no. I do Disney way differently. I used to be the type of person that had to maximize every minute. We were rope drop to park close people. We go. No breaks in the day. Got to get our money's worth. And now, it's weird. I drop all my kids off at school and I'll go to the parks by myself from 9:30 to 2 before I have to go pick them up. And, I'm doing it, work related stuff a lot. I'm
Yeah.
taking pictures and videos and doing research, or my wife will come and we'll go do a dining review or check out a place that we haven't been to before. So we do Disney very differently, but I wouldn't say I still have that, magical feeling every time we go into the park and experience Disney. So I wouldn't say the magic gets lost being a local.
So 10 out of 10. He's basically saying move.
No regrets.
No
We have
regrets.
zero regrets. The only thing that's sad for us is being far away from family.
Sure.
Yeah, because you did move.
And it's
Like if
expensive to fly
if
to
we moved to
California.
Florida, it's only 3-hour flight home. Like if this is still be home, because our family's here and we grew up here. For you, it's still like you've moved across the country.
It's expensive to fly home. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's definitely something that we weigh in our decision when we're trying to plan our trips back home. And
You get
we've been getting there
FaceTime.
about once a year, so
Yeah.
it's not very often, but
I always say to Bruce, like, I probably would see my family more if we moved sometimes, because nowadays with FaceTime, you just kind of get lost into your
I know.
daily routine.
30 years ago, if you moved across the country, you have to call
Right.
or a letter, or
We sound
beep
ancient.
them on a beeper. Like now you can FaceTime people.
Yeah, it just feels like you're really.
I don't want to
Yeah.
see you in person.
Or with social
No
media,
offense.
you get to see them a lot sometimes if you're friends with family on Facebook or whatever social platform.
Let's be honest. Who really wants to hang out with family in person? FaceTime's just as good enough.
It's true. Avoid all
so
the
another
family
thing that
fights.
happens when you move here, and you guys should think about this, is when you move here, people do ask, they want to come stay with you, right? It makes it a cheaper vacation when they've got someone to stay with. So we
Get a
don't have
small
anyone
house.
on our calendar right now, family or friends, to come out. But the first couple years that we were here, it was nice. We had someone come, a few times a year, and we had house guests, and that was really fun to go experience the park with visitors.
Forget it. I ain't
friends.
moving.
Well, they're not going to be able to once we live in your basement, Dan, right?
That's true. You have no space. It'll just be us. I'm sorry. You can't. We have these house guests that won't leave.
They won't leave. These guests,
So you just had a big tell and showed everybody that you're not Floridian. There's no basements in Florida.
That's right. That's right.
That's hilarious. That's true.
Okay, this is the ultimate question to wrap it up. Okay, you ready for this one? How do I stay dry on Splash Mountain?
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Go with Dan.
You find the biggest guy in the park to sit in front of you and block every splash of water that comes near your flume.
You did a good job. That was a lot. So I got to go on. Obviously, they're closing Splash Mountain in next month when we're recording this podcast. It's going to become Tiana's Bayou Adventure, which I'm excited about. But we did get to go on it one last time.
Yeah.
And it was one that I'll never forget.
Never forget. I still haven't shared the video anywhere. I got to do that because it's classic. But thank you for that. You did for the record. He did do his job. And
He did.
Kept you dry, Bruce, the entire time.
From the Splash Mountain
I
water.
promised Bruce that he would not get wet, and I got extra wet because I was blocking all the splashes. The only thing that I didn't consider was the weather.
Yeah. That joke's on us.
True. We'll have to share that video either on Instagram or inside of Club UTM. So go to clubutm.co. Check that video out.
So much fun.
All right, that's it, Dan. This was way too long.
It was fun.
It was fun. No, I
So
enjoyed it.
fun.
Not for you. You did a great job. It was long for me. We still have to do a couple other questions. I think we didn't be either before or after this. But where can people go say hello to you if they want to go check it out, or if they have a question that they need some help with? Where should they go?
Yeah, definitely. We've got our website, Unlocking the Magic Travel, or you can message me directly on Instagram and Facebook. I'm happy to help you out, answer any questions that you might have. It's one of the things I love to do.
And Dan at Unlocking the Magic Travel is on your socials, right?
Dan at Unlocking the Magic Travel is my email address. Dan with Unlocking the Magic Travel is my Instagram and Facebook handles.
So if you just go any social media platform, Dan, except on TikTok, because you don't want to see that, Dan Unlocking the Magic Travel, you'll pop up, right?
Yep.
All right. You on
Dan with
TikTok?
Unlocking the Magic Travel.
He's got to get on there.
Let's go, Dan. You should do some TikToks.
I'm trying to hire one of my teenage children to be my TikTok producer.
There you
Here
go.
we go.
That's a good job.
Yeah. Well, thanks again so much. I always love having you. Thank you for your expertise. You stand up to the name Jarvis for sure. So we can't thank you enough. And we hope you like the show.
Yeah. If you have any questions for Dan, I'm sure we'll be doing another episode of this. We plan on doing these Q&A episodes like this with more technical questions. So if you've asked us one of these kinds of questions in the past, sometimes we just skip it. No, not going to lie, because we don't want to answer it. But Dan can answer it now.
That's right.
Definitely.
So if you have a
Happy to do
question,
it.
technical or non, shoot us I think info at Unlocking the Magic is our email, or you can shoot us a message on Instagram. We are Unlocking the Magic Podcast. All right, Dan, thank you so much. Don't go anywhere, but we'll see you next time.
Have a great day.